Story time about how the doctors were so wrong about my daughter's concussion. I mean, completely wrong, you guys. Welcome to Mom of Many. With the 7th of 2017, the day started off normal. She went to school. My daughter Erica went to school. I went to work. I picked her. She went to after school program, and I picked her up. We went home so that way she could start doing her studying for a test that she had the following day. I'm not sure if it was like math or reading, but I know it was one of the two because I remember using flashcards, and we had our own little studying situation going on. But you know, with kids, I mean, at this time she was only like 7. So you know, with kids, after a while, they start giving you outrageous answers, and you're like, I don't got time for it. So you could ask them, what's 1 plus 1? They say something crazy like 15. Let me be very clear. My child, Erica, is smart, okay? Like, she has been talented and gifted forever. And at that time, she was a star reader. She would help the kids in like the pre-K classes with their reading, or maybe it was like first grade, I can't remember. But she was a star reader. She was awesome. She still is awesome, and she still is smart. Okay, that didn't change at all right? So we needed a break from each other, right? So I told her to go ahead in the room. She can chill out. I sat in the living room watching a little bit of TV, and a little while after that, I heard a loud thump, right? And it didn't really catch me off guard. It was just like, what is that? My child is very clumsy, okay? Erica has always been clumsy her entire life. And it's a weird clumsy too. Like, she has fell in some weird positions, and I'm like, how did you do that? How did you fall out of the car like that, right? When she was younger. So it wasn't abnormal for her to trip or fall, just not paying attention. So that's why I initially really thought is that, oh, she's gonna get up, she's gonna be fine. So I yelled back there like, hey, you okay? But she didn't answer. So I said again, hey, is everything okay? And she comes running into the living room. Oh, I hit my head. Oh my God, right? And I really seriously thought that she was like stalling to avoid trying, to go back to studying. And I was like, we ain't got time. Like, come on, you're going to be fine. It's not the first time you hit your head. Sit back at the table, start studying some more, get those down, and we can go over them and keep it moving because I got too much going on, right? And so, now mind you, I was also in school at this time too. I was finishing up my bachelor's degree. So not only am I working full time, I'm a single mother, and I have my own assignments to do for school. So she sits down, and you can visibly tell that she is dizzy. She is literally like holding her head. Her eyes look weird. And so I'm like, are you okay? She's like, no, Ma, I'm really dizzy. And I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah. So I go over to her, and she's like, I see 3 of you. And I'm like, you see 3 of me? She's like, yeah, 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, stop it with me. You playing, right? In my head, she's really playing. And she's like, no, Mom, I'm serious. And so I say, hey, how many fingers are you holding up? And I remember holding up 2 fingers, and she said she saw 6. So from there, I was like, oh no, come on, let's go to the hospital. So I take her over to Choa, Scottish Rite, because that's my favorite location. And it was right around the corner. So we go to Scottish Rite, and they do, well, once we get out the car, she is like losing her balance, and she's actually starting to lose like memory too. Like, she had just went to a birthday party on September the 4th with her friends that are twins, and she couldn't remember their names. She didn't know who I was talking about. She didn't remember anything. Now I'm sitting up here like, I'm kind of teetering on like, you're playing around, be serious. You know what I'm talking about. Like, you've known them forever now. And she's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. So we go ahead inside of the the sign in at the emergency room, and I'm still like, listen, if you are playing, this is the time to stop playing. Like, we are at the emergency room. And she's like, Ma, I really like, I'm not playing, I'm serious, and I'm really dizzy. And so I started saying, spell that word, spell this word. Because, you know, it's so many different little words or like exit and everything. So I was just like, spell that word. And you could tell that she was seeing double or triple of the same word in different order. So if you told her to spell Phillips, it would be HPLIPI. And then she might say PS for the next set of Phillips, right, that she sees. So I was getting scared, and I was like, okay, this is a little bit serious. They do an MRI and they say, oh, she has a concussion. She's going to be a little, you know, emotional. She may be a little bit different. And so I've never experienced being around anyone with a concussion. I didn't know what that actually looked like. So I didn't know what to expect. So we go home, and she was also on medication too because she's allergic to ibuprofen. So she was probably like 2 months prior to this, she started having migraines, and she had to be put on this like a special medication because of her migraines and her allergies and everything to ibuprofen. So we went home. She took her medicine. The next day, I have a full-blown infant. Okay, like I'm talking, her voice is a little like a higher pitch. She definitely sounds like younger in how she's talking. She's eating weird combinations. Like she sat there and ate like pancakes and french fries together, like rolling the french fries up in the pancakes and eating them together. And I was just like, that's disgusting. But as long as you're eating whatever, it is what it is. She also started to have like these dizzy spells. I will call them dizzy spells. She would get dizzy, and then she would either start acting like a baby or she would become combative. And so from there, we get in the car because she actually still had medication at the school that I had to pick up from the migraine, because of course she couldn't go right back to school. So I had to go pick up her medication just in case she ran out of pills at home. I already had her medication that was at the school in my hands. So on the way to the school, she is like putting any and everything in her mouth, whatever she can find in the car, whether it's my seatbelt, a pin top, paper, whatever, it's in her mouth. Just like an infant, right? We get to the school and she starts crawling on the floor inside of the lobby. So teachers that's in the lobby with me, they're like, so what did the hospital say? And I'm like, well, they said it was a concussion. So, you know, and they're like, that is not a concussion. I don't know what that is. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, I mean, I've never been around anybody that has, you know, a concussion. So I don't, they said that she was going to be emotional and like a little different. So I guess this is what it is. Like, no, you really need to call her doctor. And I'm like, okay. So I call the doctor and I tell them, you know, what's going on. And they're like, bring her in now. The only thing was her doctor is across town. So now I have to drive on the highway with her a long distance. When I tell y'all it was the longest drive, okay? Because she was like trying to reach over me to get to stuff. Like if I had, I keep like a pair of scissors in my side door, right? She was trying to reach over me to get the scissors. She was trying to crawl into the back seat while I was driving, right? She was trying to open the door. And this is all along with trying to eat anything that she could put her hands on, right? And so it took us a while to get to the doctor's office because of that. I had even pulled over to a Target parking lot so I could try to get her situated. Once I got off the highway first, I stopped there trying to get her to calm down. So we go into the doctor's office, and she's still going in and out of these dizzy spells or episodes, whichever one you want to call it, right? And the doctor, who I absolutely love, she's my favorite, but her doctor is like, this is not my baby. What is going on? And so she is doing stuff like hiding. She had crawled underneath of the exam table, and we're like trying to get Erica to come out from underneath the exam table. She won't come out. She had even picked up the little footstool that you stand on top of to get into the exam room, and was like holding it in front of her and everything. And we're like, come out from under there. She was having it. Then when she finally did, when we did get her out, and got her to lay up on the table, she was sliding to the edge of the table and hanging her head off the table, trying to reach, you know how it's like stuffing underneath the exam cushion? She was trying to get the stuffing to put in her mouth. So then she says, I have to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, no, you're not. You think you're going to trick me. You were trying to get the toilet paper. Because she had been eating paper and everything. So I was like, in my first mind, I was like, oh, she thinks that we're just going to let her go to the bathroom by herself. And she's going to eat all of the toilet paper in the bathroom, right? She's not going to actually go to the bathroom. So I was like, no, you don't. You don't have to go to the bathroom. And she was like, yes, I do. So I was still like, no, you don't. You're going to be fine. And she said, if you don't let me go to the bathroom, I'm going to pee on myself. And I was like, no, you're not. Whatever. Y'all, she did exactly what she said she was going to do. She peed on herself in front of me, in front of the doctor. So we said, all right, come on, go ahead in the bathroom. But I was right. She did go right for the toilet paper and stuffed a whole bunch of it in her mouth. So now me and the doctor are in the bathroom trying to force this toilet paper out of her mouth because it's disgusting, right? Like, it's the toilet paper in a public bathroom. Nasty, right? And so now she's becoming combative and she's kicking. So we end up having to carry her from the bathroom back to the exam room. So her doctor has her legs and I have her like upper body and we're carrying her over there, right? So the doctor is like, I'm gonna have to call an ambulance because this isn't like her. And she has to go in for some type of, you know, further exams to figure out what's going on. Now, I'm still shocked at everything that's happening because it's happening so fast. I would have never thought, like, I'm going to take her to her PCP and we're not just going to walk out of here and go home, but she is going to get an ambulance and go to the hospital. That never crossed my mind. Now, what happens next is a whirlwind of events that I wasn't prepared for as a mom whose child is experiencing a concussion. Let me paint this picture for you. Erica is now admitted to the hospital for the entire weekend, where she starts hearing screaming. She's telling doctors that she isn't Erica and more. This is just the beginning of some serious life-changing events for the both of us that we are still 5 years later working through. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you for part 2.